Something big is unfolding in the Reno-Sparks housing market. Inventory is rising fast, interest rates are stuck in the high sixes, and the days of quick, easy sales are fading fast. If you're planning on selling or buying a home, this update could save you thousands, or cost you if you miss it. Stay tuned for the facts without all the fluff. Let's go.
Assist you sell way smarter.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Reno-Sparks Real Estate Market Update Show for June 2025. Now, all of our stats I'm going to go over today are from May or through May 2025. As I film this, it's early June. This is for the Reno-Sparks area only and includes single family residential property. So basically condos, townhomes, and houses. Does not include mobile homes or lots and land, multifamily apartments, any of that stuff. And one more thing before we dive into this great information, if you could do me a favor and hit that subscribe button below, keep you up to date on what we're up to, make sure you don't miss out on any of this great content, and it really helps. So the first chart we always look at is mortgage rates. Why? Because it has the biggest impact on real estate. Roughly 80% of people that buy a home right here in the Reno-Sparks area use a mortgage. Therefore, the higher interest rates are, the more it costs. Now you can see the mortgage rates here. Real quick on these charts before we continue, you can see it says May 2024, and that's because, again, like I said, we're going through May of 2025. So we want to go year over year. So we're comparing apples with apples in terms of the time of year, because as you'll see, real estate is somewhat seasonal. So we want to make sure we got good comparisons. The main data point we're going to talk about is right here in the yellow box. And the change will be over here. And then of course, the data that was relevant back in May of 2024 will be right there. On the left side, we have interest rate. On the bottom, we have dates. Now, all of these charts go back about a decade, 10 years. So what we're seeing here is interest rates all the way back to January of 2015, been hovering around the 3 to 4 range. And of course, we all know what happened back during the pandemic. They dropped down well below 3 until we saw this crazy rise. And right now we're stuck in this channel, or this bracket, if you will, of about right around 7, maybe slightly over to the low 6s. And I don't see that changing much in the near future. Now, why do interest rates, as I mentioned, have such a big impact? Well, mortgage payments. And as you can see, the average mortgage payment right here in the Reno-Sparks area is $4,123. Believe it or not, that is down 4.7% compared to last year, where we were sitting at $4,326. So we're starting to see some relief. Now, why is this an issue? Affordability. And this is the affordability index. So a median income earner, what can they afford in terms of percentage of the median priced home? So in this case, right now, a median income earner in Washoe County in this area can afford roughly 53% of the median price of a home. So they're about half of median. Now, where you'd like to see this is back where we saw it. And if you go back to this chart real quick, we saw reasonable payments. And as you can see, the affordability was high. You want to see this right around 100. That means you can afford 100% of the median price. When you see it dip below 100, that's not good. It becomes unaffordable. But believe it or not, we're actually up slightly to 53%. We were only at 50% at this time last year. Now let's talk about the information that gets the most attention, and that is median sales price. Right now we're sitting at even $550,000 through May of 2025. You can see last year we're at $565,000, so we've actually dropped 2.7%. As you can see here, that same channel forming in the median price as we saw over in mortgage rates. You see payments, we see mortgage rates all forming, and you can see how interest rates have such a big impact on prices overall. Now let's dive into the current stats. These are new listings. So these are listings that came on the market in May of 2025, 766, which is actually down slightly at 3.3% down from May of 2024, where we had 792. And then I'm going to show you over here, we break it down by price range. So on the left side of the screen, you'll see the number of new listings. On the bottom is price range. You can see it goes from 100 to 200, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 500, 500 to 6, and so on. And as you can see, the majority of listings are taking place around 4 to 5, 5 to 6, and 6 to 7, all the way up to nearly $1 million. But what I want you to keep an eye on as we go through the next few charts is this upper end area up here. And you can see the number of listings here that we had. Now, to be fair, these are new listings that came on the market just in May. Now, as we look at the total active, this is just total active, including new listings from May. These could be listings that are left over from the previous months. In other words, this is stuff if you're looking at buying a home that you can go out and look at and potentially purchase today. And if you're selling a home, this would be your direct competition. 1,342. Now this is where it gets real interesting. As you can see, we are up nearly 50%, 48.5% higher than this time last year, where we only had 904 homes for sale. Now let's look at active by price. And as you can see, that same price range, 100 to 200, 200 to 3, 3 to 4, and so on. And I want you to look at, again, notice the amount of active listings we have on the market. Now let's look at pending sales. So these are homes that went under contract in May. So this lets us know sort of the turnover, what's happening, how many people are buying homes. And at this time last year, we had 507. This year, we only have 430 that have gone under contract. So it's down just over 15% compared to last year. And if we look, most of the pending sales, again, this is by price range, most of the pending sales are between 4 and 5, 5 and 6. Once you start hitting the 650, 700 and above, it really starts to fall off. Now, what does all this mean for closed? So closed sales basically means sold homes. 528, so we're up 1.1% where we had 522. So basically up 6 sales over last year. And look how much lower the sales volume is. We're selling a lot fewer homes than we were back in 15, 16, 18, and so on. We're not selling as many homes as you would expect. And then I want to show you closed homes by price range. And this is why I wanted you to keep an eye on this section up here. And we'll go back to the other chart here in a moment. And why does that matter? Well, if you look over here and we go back to active by price, you can see the difference, right? 100 and roughly 60 or 70 over $1.5 million. And you go to closings and we had just over 20. So what you're starting to see is a bigger gap between the number of sales and the number of actives. So what does all of this mean? I'm going to sum it up like this. The sky is not falling. You may go on YouTube or other places and people tell you, oh, it's another crash coming and so on. We're not seeing that right now. The market is still very strong. But with that said, if you're a seller and you really want to get your home sold, I would do it sooner rather than later. The market is still strong and very solid. But here's what's happening. The homes that are in good condition, and most importantly, they're priced correctly, are moving. It's the homes where sellers aren't realistic on price. They're asking for way too much, way over what their neighbor might have gotten 6 months ago, and they're sitting on the market too long. They start reducing prices and it becomes an issue. Now, in the buyer perspective, if you're thinking about buying a home, there's good news in that you're starting to see inventory build up. You have a few more choices. You can be a little more selective. You can negotiate a little bit more, maybe ask for some closing costs or get a much lower price. So relief is coming for home buyers, sellers. We're starting to see potentially some pressure with added inventory and maybe slowing of sales as we saw in the charts today. So at the end of the day, just make sure you're fully educated, which obviously you are because you're watching this video. And I want to educate you on one more thing before we wrap this up, and that is assist to sell. Sell your home for only $49.95. And if your home is over $500,000, it's only 1%. So it's not either or, it's one or the other. We are completely full service. We do absolutely everything. We're licensed. We're members of the MLS, National Association of Realtors, State Association, etc. We've been doing this since 1987 right here in the Reno-Sparks area. Have sold thousands of homes and have put millions upon millions of extra dollars right in homeowners' pockets just like yours. And if you're buying, we have access to every listing in town and we can negotiate the best possible deal for you and make sure you're taken care of. One more quick thing, if you want to find out what your home is worth, a great place to start is right here front and center where it says, want to know your home value? Click on that Find Out Now button, type in your address, and you'll get a quick automated valuation. And they're pretty darn close, but we'll also follow that up with a more detailed, what's called a CMA, comparative market analysis, to give you a really good idea of what your home will sell for. Or even if you're buying a home and you're thinking about maybe I want to check the value and see what it says for the value of a home I'm buying, use that tool as well. Hope you enjoyed today's content. Hit that subscribe button. If we can be of any assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. 775-688-6060, info@4renohomes.com. We'll see you next time right here on the Reno-Sparks Real Estate Market Update Show. Bye-bye.
Assist to sell way smarter.